Happy Wednesday. Today we're here with Dr. Al Johnson to talk about IBS. Dr. Johnson, first of all, tell us, what is that?
Well, irritable bowel syndrome is just a group of symptoms that a person may have related to diarrhea, constipation, abdominal cramping, pain, swelling, bloating type symptoms, so that a person cannot depend upon what really is going to happen with their gastrointestinal tract from time to time. And so it's called irritable.
And is that something that's pretty common? Do you see that happening with your patients?
Yes. Patients come into my office to try to figure out what the cause is. And the cause is typically inflammation in the intestinal tract. There is a whole group of inflammatory bowel diseases that are called ulcerative colitis and Crohn's syndrome that occur. And then there's celiac disease, which is a severe gluten sensitivity. So if you're having problems with your intestinal tract, you have to sort out which of these items or these type of diseases is going on, or processes. But regardless of which process, a lot of times it's reactive. It's reactive to the food you're eating. It's reactive to the preservatives that are in different foods and food sources. It can be related to dyes. Many times it's related to spices even, and seasonings, preservatives. So our job as a physician here is to sort out what are the triggers, avoid those, and then help balance out the intestinal tract.
Okay. So if they do find out they have IBS, like, you kind of go through with what they're intaking on a daily basis and what they could change about it. And
yes. How we approach it is take a history, find out what they're eating, what type of foods they're eating, if they've been sensitive to foods in the past, how they were as infants. A lot of times we'll hear, well, I had croup and colic as a baby and they took milk out of my formula, and then it got added back in as they grew older, and then they developed allergic or intolerance to that substance again, but manifested a little different in an irritable bowel situation. So the key is to do the history, figure out what they are eating, what they aren't. Then there are specific tests that can be done to define what type of allergy may be. Is it just an intolerance, or is it a true allergy? Blood tests can help with that. We can tell about your digestion from a specific comprehensive stool analysis that looks at your digestion, looks at inflammation, looks at your digestive immune system, and looks at the type of flora, type of bacteria that is in your gut that helps digest your food and normalize the inflammatory process.
Okay. And are there any early symptoms of IBS? Are there times where people, have it, but they avoid paying any attention to it?
Yeah, they do. A lot of people just ignore it, and they say, well, yeah, I eat, and occasionally I have to run for the bathroom. And they tend to ignore that. Well, that's not normal. If they keep eating the same thing over and over again, they can develop more sensitivity to it and create a worse condition, create more inflammation in their intestinal tract, which then causes increase in bloating, increase in diarrhea, and increase in pain.
And does this have any specific age groups that get IBS more often than others, or does it matter?
It really doesn't matter. I mean, IBS is more in older children, adults that can talk to you and understand what's going on. The babies are sensitive to many different things occasionally, but their diet is much more limited than an adult would be. And so it's easier to sort out because they're either getting formula, and the formula may either be dairy-based, soy-based, some of them could be rice-based, and there's different types of formulas then you can make specifically for that child if they are sensitive to one of the common formulas that can be bought.
Okay. And is there anything that will temporarily, make it less painful for people?
Well, one of the things we recommend is to try a rotation diet, and that's where you do not eat the same thing but once every 4 days, and you separate out the food families to every other day. You go on the internet and look at food families, or here in our office we have a sheet that's an easy sheet to work with. Make out your diet, eat 2 or 3 foods a meal, don't add spices, don't make casseroles. So it's a very simple diet. You repeat that 3 times, keeping a diary, and you'll sort out pretty quick which meals really upset your stomach. Now, a lot of times people don't like it because they like ice cream, or they like yogurt, or they like garlic as a seasoning, and a lot of people are sensitive to that. The 2 most common foods are dairy and dairy products, and you can either be allergic to the protein, or you can be allergic and intolerant to the sugar, the lactose. And so lactose intolerance is a sugar intolerance of dairy. The other one is gluten, which is in all grains except corn and rice. So wheat type products, oats, all the other barleys and all the grains have gluten in them. Now, gluten is just one part of wheat, and it's one part of rice and one part of the other grains, but you can be sensitive both to gluten and to that grain in general. So you have to be careful when you're going through about making generalizations on whether you are gluten sensitive. And if in the case of oats, some people say, well, I eat gluten-free oats, but they are sensitive to oats and other things in oats besides the gluten. So you have to be careful with that. But a rotation diet is a good way to start. People try to eliminate foods on an elimination diet, and they just take one food out at a time, and they're forever trying to figure it out because they're sensitive to more than one food.
And does this include liquids, or is it just food-based?
Well, no, liquids go down the same track. So,
I guess it would.
Yeah, so liquids are a problem too. Juices are just concentrated fruits, and so they tend to be a problem. You get soft drinks, have all kinds of things, we don't know what's in them, and other beverages. So yes, they're a problem too. So typically when you're going through this rotation diet, you drink glass bottled water. Here in the office we use Mountain Valley, which is a good clean type water.
Okay. All right. Is there a website or a phone number that you would like to share with everybody?
Sure. JohnsonMedicalAssociates.com is the website, or that's the best thing. You can call the office at 972-479-0400.
All right. Thank you.